Hey everybody, today is May 9th, 2023, and tomorrow is a CPI report, and it's going to have a big it's going to be a big catalyst for not only the stock market but also for the Bitcoin markets. And before we discuss what that could do for the price action, please read the disclaimer and you can pause the video as you read it. Okay, so like I just said, tomorrow's is going to be the CPI report, and it's going to be very important because this whole narrative that we've had over the last year and a half has basically been rising inflation and the Fed trying to fight that through raising interest rates, right? And it has put a lot of downward pressure not only on the stock market, right? See, we were in a bear market last year, but also in the Bitcoin and the crypto markets, right? Also a bear market over the last year and a half, right? So tomorrow's CPI report I think is going to be very important. We had a job report last Friday, which is more positive than expected, which caused the market to rally and also the Bitcoin and crypto markets to rally. But now we're starting to come down a little bit. I think that people are starting to prepare for tomorrow's report, which is expected to be slightly hotter than it's anticipated to rise slightly, inflation rate, right? So you can see that April CPI report expected to show a 5% increase in inflation from a year ago, and we also have all these other categories, right? 0.4% rise. CPI, core CPI, which includes food and energy, expected to rise 0.3%, right? So the market is pricing in a slight increase in inflation if the market, if the CPI report is cooler than expected, right? If we're starting to see that, inflation is starting to come down, then the market might expect that the Fed will either pause or start cutting, right? I don't think they're likely to cut, but they'll at least probably pause if the CPI report is better than expected, right? Cooler than expected. However, if the CPI report is hotter than expected, meaning that inflation is higher than what people are predicting, right? Then we'll probably likely see the market tank, right? And you can watch my stock analysis video, which I also put out today. If that were to happen, I believe the stock market will come down. However, I think these support levels will hold, right? And you can watch my stock market video for more details. And also, similarly, I think the Bitcoin market, the Bitcoin and the crypto markets will likely come down as well, right? In my last video, I talked about how I think that there's a good chance that Bitcoin will come down to 25,000, and that would be likely our next support level. And the reason why I said that is that 25,000 has been a big level over the last few months, right? It was our local high here and over here, right? And so if you just draw a line here, just straight through, you'll see that this is generally previous resistance ends up as support, right? Especially when we come down to retest this level, we tend to come down and retest the same previous resistance to see if we can hold it as support. If we're able to hold it, then we can possibly turn that into support and push up higher, right? And not only that, we are also going to retest or to test the 100-day moving average, this gold line, right? So over the last few sessions, Bitcoin has been able to hold the 50-day, right? See how there's these wicks? Every time the prices come down to touch the 50-day moving average, our shortest term moving average, right? We've been able to hold that. The only time we closed red below that, the next day, we basically ripped up higher. This is earlier this month, right? And then just a couple of days ago, we've managed to close below this 50-week moving average, and then now we had this huge plunge, which basically is a bearish confirmation that this is probably going to continue down lower, right? Of course, now we're basically at previous support level, right? Right around 27,000, 28,000, right here that we had here in late March and late April. And if we come down and retest this level, right? And not only that, but we've been unable to make progress making higher highs, right? See how we basically been making lower highs over here, right? And also we're seeing our oscillators come down, which means that there's not a lot of momentum to the upside, right? And the volume has been drifting down a little bit. So I do think that right now the benefit of doubt is that I'm giving the benefit of doubt to the bears at this moment. Unless we're able to rip up high on cooler than expected CPI report, if the CPI report tomorrow is better than expected, the market will probably rally and we'll probably see Bitcoin rip up higher. If we're able to do that and we're able to take out the local high here over the last few sessions of 29 to 30,000, and we're able to break up this Fibonacci resistance level, then I believe that this is probably the low. But if the inflation report is hotter than expected, markets will probably plunge, and that'll probably take Bitcoin down to it. However, I do think that 25,000 is going to be a strong level of support, and then we'll see from there how that acts, how the price action acts develop going forward, and to see if we can hold that support level. But I do think that this next level, the 100-day moving average, right now 26,000. But when the market panics, it tends to overshoot to the downside, right? So 25,000, I think, is going to be a strong level of support. Right now, the fear and greed index is in neutral. So really, there's no. It just means that there's people who are equally bearish and also equally bullish, right? We've been seeing a lot of people take on leveraged short positions here, who basically just been blown out over here, here, and here, right? People are trying to time this market to see when it's going to crash, and I think that if it does end up crashing, it's going to crash when people least expect it, right? But like we saw over here, things look kind of good, and then until it didn't, right? So if you are thinking about doing a leverage short position, just be careful, and I would honestly just wait until we have more confirmation that this level, at least 27,000, is taken out, and then maybe you want to short down to 25,000. Again, not financial advice, but that's just what I would do if I were doing a leverage short position, right? Let's see, total hash rate is still looking good, so we've been basically stuck at this level, this ceiling, for a while, right? But overall, we're still in an uptrend. So yeah, so that's it for the news. Overall, in the bigger picture, I do think that things are looking pretty good. Let me just get a cleaner chart here. I do think that for now, this is probably the bottom, right, of this bear market downtrend. Unless the stock market plunges below its October low, I do think that Bitcoin will probably come down to 25,000, but it'll probably hold, right? If you look at this 200-day moving average, 200-week moving average at 26,000, right? This blue line has historically acted as strong level of support and a strong indicator of where the bear market bottom is, right? So this is 2015, right? And in 2018, early 2019, and then the pandemic crash here in 2020, we saw that the blue line, the 200-week moving average, has always acted as strong support. And now, just last year, we plunged so fast that we actually went below, and we stayed below for a couple months, right? So I don't think that it's going to be so easy that we just basically have a big pump above and then we just move up higher, right? I thought it could have been the case, right? I'll admit that I was wrong. That I thought a couple weeks ago we had this beautiful candle that seemed like it was following this parabolic rally that we had in 2019, right? We might have had a similar echo rally, but now that we basically lost a bit of momentum, right? I do think that we're probably following something more similar, slow and steady, like we saw in 2016 all the way to 2018, where the market basically moves sideways for a while before making an impulse move higher, and then move sideways for a while. So something more like this, right? Sideways, impulse move up, sideways, and then more slow and steady, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I think that it's much more sustainable rally if it does move like that, and it'll give people more time to enter the market if they so wish to, right? But anyways, like I said, 200-week moving average is very important, so I do think we're going to come down and retest that, and that level is at 26,000. So again, usually the market, when it comes down, you have a lot of aggressive short selling, it might overshoot to the downside. So again, 25,000 here, right? Possible strong support level. And of course, 30,000, which we had as our previous resistance level, which you can see at this Fibonacci level right here, here, and here. So this is another reason why 30,000 is also strong, too hard, very, very difficult to break above, right? We came up to 30,000 and we basically have met strong resistance because that level was also strong support in our 2021 bull market, right? So the fact that we hit 30,000, I think that that's also going to be strong resistance for those reasons. So we might be trapped within this range for a while, in the 20,000 range, before the market has more confidence to push up higher. But again, like I said, we just want to be patient and use these opportunities to perhaps accumulate or and definitely be careful if you are using leverage, because this market, sideways market, is designed to basically just stop people out of their positions and take their money, right? So just be careful. So just to summarize, I do think there's a good chance if the CPI reports, so the CPI report tomorrow is going to be a strong catalyst, obviously. If it's negative, I do think that Bitcoin will probably come down to 25,000, but I think 25,000 could be a strong support level. We can reassess when we get to that level if the market's going to go down more, if it looks weak, or whether that's going to be the actual bottom before we recover and try to take out 30,000. If the CPI report is cooler than expected, we might see the stock market take off and take Bitcoin with it, and then we'll reassess and see if we can break 230,000, which of course is going to be strong resistance. But again, everything depends on what the CPI report is tomorrow, and I'll definitely update you with a chart on Thursday on my Twitter site, @EddieLux_. Please follow me there. And again, on next Tuesday, a video talking about what the CPI report was and how it affect the market going forward. And we shall see if we if the Bitcoin markets try to challenge 30,000 resistance, or whether we're going to come down to 25,000. That's it for today. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it useful, helpful, informative, please like this video, leave a comment below, and subscribe for updates. Appreciate all your support. Thank you again, and have a great day.